know that.
Welcome to another review here on Alpha Omega Wolf Productions. So this is actually a bit of a first. Well, sort of. I reviewed a season of the anime Naruto, but I was flying solos and I didn't have this guy to help me out. But this was actually requested. We are actually going to be reviewing possibly the first season, maybe it's the only season of Kenobi. So if you're going into this show thinking it's going to be how Obi-Wan adapts to life after Order 66, you're sort of right.
Yeah.
It's not what you think it's going to be.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where to start.
I will say this show starts off slow, but when it gets to the second episode, then it starts to pick up a little bit. Then you start to get like a main idea of what the story is going to be like.
True. Yeah, so it's mostly Obi-Wan going on his own journey. His friends from the past give him a little assignment that has him interacting with a bunch of people from it pretty much just pulls the Inquisitors towards him, so that now the Inquisitors are hunting him down.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know what
these characters from Rebels, yeah. But there's a new Inquisitor.
And for those who don't know what the Inquisitors are, they're basically people who were Jedi, but then they turned to the dark side.
And were trained by Vader.
Yes.
I read a lot of like the expanded lore and stuff like in the books. So one of the biggest things I got after the second episode, because I think they both kind of dropped at the same time. Was that right?
They did.
Yeah. So it make it look like the Grand Inquisitor died in the second episode, but he comes back later.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little bit confusing. It's just, it feels like
okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, sure, they explain he comes back, but that he survived his fake out death and comes back in the second to last episode. But because I'm kind of the Star Wars expert, a lot of people came to me and asked, isn't he supposed to be alive in Rebels? And the best I had at the time is that when Vader was training the Inquisitors to he was a very ruthless towards them, and he would actually cut off their limbs and stuff. They don't say if the Inquisitor took part in these trainings, but honestly, it wouldn't be surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
yeah. For the main story, we pretty much figure out how things became the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be later set up for the original trilogy and perhaps even the sequel trilogy that we ended up getting recently.
Yeah. I thought it was great to see Ewan McGregor back in the role. Same goes for Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, and we don't hate Hayden Christensen. We just thought he was just given a pretty bad script.
Yeah, watch him in Shattered Glass.
Yes, I think
he's great in that movie.
Yeah, I thank Jessup for showing me that. It's very underrated, and I think that's where Hayden Christensen is among at his best, because they show scenes of Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen together, and they work off of each other very well.
Yeah, that chemistry between them. I feel like Clone Wars kind of solidified this, but the chemistry between those two characters is always great.
Oh yeah, they're cracking jokes at each other, but even during the serious moments, they take the time to just sit down and talk, and they're like brothers.
Yeah. Now the biggest thing is that this is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. Anakin's already Vader at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have some flashbacks to things before the events of the between the first and second prequel movie, and that's where you get Hayden Christensen. You do have to kind of suspend your disbelief because they both look much older than they did in the prequel movies.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah. At least for those flashback scenes.
There is one scene where Obi-Wan confronts Vader. Jessup would probably know which one I'm talking about. which is like it hits hard just watching that scene and just thinking about it. Really,
Yeah. I feel like
uh,
most of the shows just a build up to that scene.
no, and I think this show would help you give you a greater appreciation for the prequels. I'd say.
Yeah. So there is another character I want to talk about. The new Inquisitor. You want to talk about her at all?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about her.
Okay, so she seems a little different. She seems much younger than the other Inquisitors. And we actually do see like the first thing you see in the show is Order 66 from her perspective.
Yes.
And how old would you say she was in the sequences?
I want to say she was probably what, 7 or something, maybe a little bit
I'd
older.
say a little older, but the point is she's probably a teenager by the events of the show. I know the
Right,
actress Mrs. Ingram is not.
right.
I think she's a little older than us, but the character is supposed to be very young and very
Yeah.
brash, and you see the Inquisitors always scolding her.
hmm
Um, like, and they do think less of her. The Grand Inquisitor used to be like a temple guard or something.
hmm
So it makes sense that she's a lot younger.
And I like how she wants to be the Grand Inquisitor. Like she really wants to prove herself to Vader because, well, let's face it, the Inquisitors are afraid of Vader.
Mhm.
And
But
sorry, go ahead.
that's a good point. And like I said, in the comic books, there's a Darth Vader comic series where we see him cutting like limbs off the Inquisitors during training.
Yeah, because
The comic's a good read. I recommend it to anyone.
Vader tends to be pretty ruthless in the shows or the movies, whatever you want
Even
to
in the
put him in,
book,
or in the
even the
books. Yeah,
comics.
yep.
Yeah.
I will say in terms of world building, it's not bad, but
Yeah. I've seen a lot of complaints how like everything seems like things they don't like have like any like sense of like distance between the various planets in the final
yeah,
episode. My The only thing I think is that maybe these planets are like relatively close together, like all three
yeah. I
planets.
guess that would make the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they're like just they're not like super. I mean, there's probably like some distance between these planets, but it's not like going to Coruscant.
No, and plus it's not like they're going through light speed every single time trying to get away from people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think some of the ships had the resources to even go to light speed.
That's true. That's very true.
Anything you didn't like about the show, Will?
I will say some of the pacing is a little bit off. Like
Yeah,
I feel like there are times where it kind of drags on. I'm like, okay, let's kind of get going here.
I'd
Um,
say most of the fourth episode.
yep,
Um,
it's most of the 4th episode, I would say. But I will say after the first episode, then things start to get a little bit more interesting.
yeah,
Like if you go into this movie or in this show and just to watch the first episode and give up after that, be patient. It gets better.
yeah. I mean, it has some great moments too. Like we said, the lightsaber duel between
Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
climax. Yeah.
Um,
There's one at the very last thing you see in the show is something I that was also great. I don't want to say anything.
no, I can't say it either. But
There is one of the things I do like. I don't know if you're aware of. Did you ever see the Forces of Destiny series on YouTube?
I think I have. But
Yeah.
yes,
It was a YouTube series of like side Star Wars stories that were an anthology that would focus on different characters. They're not really like really important to know, but some of them are nice, some of them are just okay.
hmm
My favorite ones were ones where it had like characters who normally didn't share screen time in the movies interacting off each other.
hmm
Just all these various interactions. I know they would eventually do this in a Rise of Skywalker, but Leia and Maz Kanata was probably my favorite one because it actually explains where Leia gets the bounty hunter disguise for Return of the Jedi.
oh yeah.
Anyways,
I like
the
how
point of that is
yeah.
Obi-Wan gets to interact with a character we're all familiar with who is he does not share much screen time with in any of the movies.
No.
Like, and I did not expect like those two characters to have like such a good connection to each other. Yes, they had to recast this character, but the actress, I actually looked it up. She was Guppy in We Can Be Heroes.
Okay.
It's the same actress.
It's nice knowing that she's moving up in the world.
She was also in Bird Box.
Okay. Also
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. I can see some people not liking this character, the recast. But I don't care. Like just the two work really well off each other. I just realized that they'll probably figure out who it is
we're talking about. It's okay. I think it's been a while that Kenobi has been out.
Yeah, sure to say it.
We could if we want.
Okay. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the show.
It's actually a younger Leia.
Yeah, like a 10-year-old Leia.
But when we see them interact with each other,
yeah,
like we now know why eventually she names her kid after him.
Yeah. I also you played Have you played Last of Us yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Didn't you get like some sort of like Joel and Ellie vibe off of them?
I was just about to ask you that, believe it or not.
Yes, I got those vibes off them.
It's only fitting that a very popular franchise we could connect with a popular video game that we both love.
I know, right? Oh.
But yeah, I like the show. I don't know how much Jessup likes this show.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
I would say it's not as good as Mandalorian, personally.
No, not by a long shot.
But I will say I think it was better than Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I mean, I think Book of Boba Fett's strengths were just those last few episodes. I will admit it was cool seeing Chrysanthemum. So off topic. So that Wookiee in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He first appeared in the books, so I was very familiar with the character when he first appeared. So that kind of warmed me up to Book of Boba Fett, even though I will say of these live action shows, I think it is the weakest. But
yeah, I'd say so. I'd like to see them continue this. Should that be the path they work on?
Yeah. Or they'll probably just do what Marvel's doing, just do like one season for these shows.
Yeah, maybe.
Isn't Loki getting another season?
What was that?
Loki's getting another season, right?
I think Loki is going to be renewed for another season.
Okay. Loki was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I'd say that's the best Marvel show they have yet.
Yeah, I haven't finished Miss Marvel yet.
Okay, I'm gonna work on Miss Marvel. So should we talk about what we're gonna do for next week, or should we hold it off for right now?
I don't even know what we're doing next week.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing either. We could figure that out when we get there. I'll try to find something for both of us to review.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that just about does it. If you enjoyed it, like the video. If you're new, subscribe for more content. So until next time, we will see you next week, and may the 4th be with you. Oh, shoot.